I think with technology, people get lazy. I feel that they rely much on it. They don't do their homework, the due diligence it needs to. They don't go out and kick the bricks and mortar. I kick the bricks and mortar of every property, and take a look at it. It's important to investors. Yeah. It doesn't matter who I am and where I stand in this company. It's important. I want to see every deal we buy. And at the end of the day, Gary, what I've learned is that technology can be great, but it also you want to make sure that you adhere to the principles of where you started.
Welcome back to the Massive Passive Cashflow Podcast. I'm Gary Wilson, your host. I'm so glad to have you back listening to the show or watching if that's what you're doing. We have an excellent guest today, Ben Reinberg. And we've touched base before. We've been chatting before the recording here. So I think you're going to thoroughly enjoy this. If you're driving, you're going to get the show notes with the podcast on our podcast channel. So just remember, go to globalinvestoragent.com, click on, you'll see the podcast under the other resources. Plus it's all over the internet, different media, podcast channels. So you have your pick. In any case, first and foremost, Ben, thanks for joining us, man. I know you're a busy guy, and I really appreciate what you've been doing for the investor community. And I feel grateful to have you on the show. Thank you for being here.
Gary, what a privilege. And it's so nice to spend some time with you. I really enjoy and respect what you guys have done at your firm. And I know you're just a little bit older than me. And so to have that gratitude for you paving the way with a little bit the generation above me, I'm extremely grateful. And gratitude is something I lean in on. I mean, I see behind your wall, it says faith, belief, and trust. And that's all we can have in this world. So it's really a beautiful thing what's behind you, and I agree with that. And so, no, thank you for having me. Look forward to adding a tremendous amount of value to your audience. It's something that I thrive on. And so let's go.
Yeah, it's all in the living is in the giving. And the more you give, the more you get. And I do agree. And the funny thing is that the longer you've been around and more experience you have, the more you realize the whole thing really is just a big miracle. I mean, every day I wake up like, I'm so excited. My dad worked, he was 78, and one of my great aunts worked till she was 94.
Yeah.
And she was 101. My dad's now getting ready to turn 89. He still exercises, still runs, travels all over the world. And everybody I saw that retired when they were in their 60s, they just whittled away, rotted away in the lazy boys, so to speak. But
I am turning 56 on January 21st, and I've been in the business for 32 years. And I look back and I snap my fingers. I can't believe how long I've been in commercial real estate and what a grind it's been. But it's been good, and it's great because I come on a podcast like this or a TV or show. And just to be able to relay my experience, if there's someone out there in your show that's listening to this right now, and I could touch them in a way that maybe they were me 32 years ago. It's why I even wrote my book. It wasn't about me. It's not about my life. It's about how am I creating impact and showing people how to build wealth. And I'm very grateful because I look back and I say, wow, I can't believe I've been doing this for 32 years.
Yeah, I know. It goes fast, and it goes faster and faster too. That's why every moment counts, man. So let's dig in. If you wouldn't mind, take us down memory lane. Everybody, I don't think any of us are born saying, "I'm going to be a real estate investor, real estate professional, whatever."
Yeah,
we wanted to be firemen, policemen, and astronauts, that kind of thing. But was there something that triggered this? What was the inspiration? College?
Yeah, it's such a great question. I've been asked this plenty of times too. When I started, Gary, in my 20s, and I come from Chicago, the north suburbs of Chicago. I did not come from money. And I used to see the Mercedes drive by on the street, and I used to read different articles. And coming from Chicago, you had the Pritzkers and the Crowns and Sam Zell and all these just wealthy billionaire families. And I kept saying to myself, well, what is the common denominator that these people do? And it's hard assets. And it reflects my book. And not to keep promoting the book, but it kind of circles, encapsulates exactly what I'm talking about. And what I realized was that investing in hard assets and having that control gives clarity, control. And it's not headlines and hype. And I said, when the world gets shaky, you have to follow proven principles, and that's investing in hard assets. And that's what these families do. And so I said to myself as a young man, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I have to mock and copy what they did. And so I'm a CPA. I graduated from Indiana University, and I was fortunate enough to go to college. And I graduated. I was a CPA, worked at a firm for about a year. I hated it. But I learned from a billionaire on audit who inspired me to go out on my own. So I went out on my own and started syndicating and buying and raising equity. And with shoe leather, I used to wear a suit every day to work for my entire career. I had to move out to California to our West Coast office to be dressing in a sweater. And, so I was always the 3-piece suit guy with the handkerchief and the shiny shoes. Yeah. That's how it was in Chicago, what I did. And so at the end of the day, I decided that investing in hard assets like commercial real estate, which is my love, was the best way to build wealth. And I've been at it for 32 years. And I am an office industrial retail, and we just opened a multifamily division. And I love what I do, and I love helping people. I've impacted a tremendous amount of young men and women in the business that I've helped. And with my new book and the courses that go with it and my personal brand and speaking, I know I will create more impact in the industry, but also people and investors that want to build wealth. We've inspired and impacted a tremendous amount of people. And I'm very grateful and proud of my career, where I'm going. I'm in the prime of my career right now. It's a great time to invest in my company, Alliance, and what we do. We have 250 years of leadership team experience. We understand the real estate fundamentals. We know it's a difficult market, and we know that the key to real estate is the ability to hold, the ability to hold, and the ability to hold. So for us, I'm excited. My lens is different in life and business. Gary, I do a tremendous amount of personal development on myself. And I work on myself to communicate better, to be a better person, to be kind, to be empathetic, to be the person that I want to be, where my employees and leadership team and investors, people can mirror and lead. And that's part of a leader, is saying, looking at themselves and saying, how do I improve as a person? How do I communicate better? How do I inspire people? So for everyone out there listening, if you are looking to become a great leader, you have to be a good listener, and you have to lead by example, and you have to inspire people. And that's the secret to creating success in commercial real estate.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't realize, a lot of investors start off in the residential world, small, duplexes, fourplexes, flipping homes, all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of how I got started. Actually, my first purchase was a pair of fourplexes. So I dove right in with both feet, but I'm glad I did. And I'm sorry, that was my first.
I jumped in. My first deal was industrial. I went all in. I went big. Yeah. I mean, I never got into the residential game, and I never got into being a broker. Now, people ask me all the time, if I was getting into the business, how would I learn? I always think right now, if you're an investment sales broker and you can learn from someone, be mentored, and do plenty of deals, you will learn the business quickly. Then you can make a decision like, do I want to be a principal? Because I took the opposite road. I said, I'm jumping face first in. I'm going to be a principal. I don't want to be a broker. Yeah, I'm a licensed Illinois broker. Okay. And I have been for years. But at the end of the day, I'm a principal and an owner and a landlord. And it's not for the faint of heart when you're young. And so I have a lot of young men and women come to me and say, hey, I want to get in the business. How do I start? Now, if you read my book, it's like, go ahead and start buying hard assets. However, you do need to learn. And learning, being in investment sales is really good, because you do enough deals and touch enough deals and you underwrite enough deals and you learn the real estate fundamentals and you touch enough asset classes. Well, number one, you can see what you like and gravitate to the product type, because you're always rewarded for focus. But also you learn about the real estate fundamentals. You learn about, how do I protect the downside? You learn about what was successful about that transaction. Why did this buyer buy this deal? Why was the seller selling? How did they finance the transaction? What was the capital stack look like? So there's so much growth and learning you could do and not take the risk and make a commission So, a lot of people ask me, and I say, that's a great place to start. And there's no shame in being a broker.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you probably started in the 90s, and I started in the 80s, mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, clearly technologies has changed a lot. I mean, it's just in the frequency of change is increasing ever so rapidly. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I'm okay with it because I've got a technology background. I'm comfortable with the change, at least for right now. But what do you see opportunities being created by new technology in the world of real estate? I mean, what do you see? Like, I know we do. Yeah.
I do. I mean, it's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Technology, Gary, has changed our industry significantly. I mean, if you go back, and I'm a little bit younger than you, but if you go back when we started, it was shoe leather, canvassing properties and going out and talking to people. It was a local, maybe a regional business. Like you had guts if you're like, hey, I'm in Chicago, I'm going to go to Milwaukee or Indianapolis or Detroit or Columbus, Ohio, whatever, or St. Louis. You were stepping out of your comfort zone, which we did. But being in a big city like Chicago, there's plenty of opportunities. And so I focused on that market initially. Now, the internet came about, and all of a sudden I started confidence. I'm like, okay, I can go to Florida, I can go to Georgia, I can go to Alabama and Louisiana, Texas, and have a big presence in Arizona and the Carolinas, all these different states. And we started expanding. And that's what technology allowed us to do. It allowed us to use the Google Earth and look at a property and say, what's the ingress egress? And look at leases quickly with PDFs. Remember, we didn't have PDFs. They'd send us, if you remember, the shiny book with maybe an Argus run, and you look at it and you'd be bidding with maybe 20 companies that you had no idea, and hopefully you'd win. You had to find off-market deals. You had to go canvas to really get deals done. But because of that, because of lack of technology, it allowed you to learn the business the right way. I think with technology, people get lazy. I feel that they rely much on it. They don't do their homework, the due diligence it needs to. They don't go out and kick the bricks and mortar. I kick the bricks and mortar of every property we own and take a look at it. It's important to me and investors. Yeah. It doesn't matter who I am and where I stand in this company. It's important to me. I want to see every deal we buy. And at the end of the day, Gary, what I've learned is that technology can be great, but it also you want to make sure that you adhere to the principles of where you started. You and I have a great benefit. Okay, guess what? We learned how to communicate on the phone. We weren't communicating on email. And yeah, we had faxes and we might fax documents and everything back in the day. But I'm a phone guy. When I could pick up the phone and have a conversation with Gary Wilson or someone and say, here's what I'm looking for. Okay, here's what I don't like. Here's where the challenges in the deal. By the way, here's my offer. Let me explain the valuation to explain to the seller why. Here's where I'm at. That is great communication. Now, do I want to write that in an email? Well, you don't feel the emotion. You don't feel the logic behind it. You can't ask questions and we can have a flowing conversation. And I feel that with the younger generation, they lose that opportunity of even being in the office. A lot of people work remotely. I'm in an office. And so I like the osmosis of an office, but people are working remotely. We had to figure that out. And so we brought a human behaviorist into the company to deal with the hybrid or the remote workforce. And so technology has changed that. Technology is you can work from anywhere. You can work from your phone or a tablet or a computer. We're doing Zoom calls. So the face-to-face meetings have eliminated in some respect. And so the human interaction, human touch has really lost its value in our business in commercial real estate and in a lot of industries. I'm not just singling out ours. And what I feel, Gary, is that that's what technology's done. Now, has it sped up? Hey, we're looking at this deal. It doesn't fit our box. Next, leasing, working with leasing brokers around the country, the ability to use different software, CoStar. We just developed our own CRM, which we're launching shortly. We're using AI. We're 2 years ahead of every commercial real estate firm with AI. Yeah. So we're doing these things to benefit in using technology. And technology has helped with communicating with employees and all the, Microsoft Teams and Slack and all these different things that we all use and CRMs and stuff and marketing. but there is nothing like the human touch. There's nothing. I used to do deals when I was younger on a napkin. I would be in front of a seller. I'd have this white napkin. I have my pen, and I would write on it and say, here's what I could pay. I need 35 days of due diligence. I'll close on this date, give them a hard date, and that's it. And we would shake hands, and that was your LOI. And then we go right to contract. And the word was your bond. It wasn't like, I got your LOI, your letter of intent. I also got 3 others in, and now I'm shopping. It was, we would have a cup of coffee or breakfast, shake hands, talk about it, talk about, at the end of due diligence, if I had to have a conversation, we'd sit again and say, hey, I need a credit for X, Y, and Z. There was integrity in the process. But technology has also opened the door for people that maybe don't know the business, maybe that create chaos in the business as well. And so technology, I go either way on it. And I look back and I'm like, God, it was kind of nice when we didn't have cell phones, Gary. And I had to actually, pick up my landline, which I still have, and do something about it and call Gary Wilson and say, Gary, I'm looking at this. What do you think? How do I get this deal? How do I win it? By the way, where are the risks? Where are the downside? How did you underwrite this? This tenant's rolling. What's market rent? Where do you see the vacancy? Who are we competing with? What are properties? I can have questions answered in 10 minutes talking to Gary Wilson. Now, that conversation on technology, okay, well, I can't understand the context of what Gary told me. I can't understand the nuances. I can't ask a follow-up question instantly to get the understanding or the truth or the lens behind Gary. And so communication has really been extremely important in this environment. And something I work on consistently is, how do I improve my communication? How do I speak to women? How do I speak to men, different generations? And so I am constantly doubling down on personal development. How do I communicate better? How do I show up better on a podcast or whatever? And so the world has changed, Gary, for sure. But there's one thing that will never change is, how do you communicate with people? How do you show them respect? How do you act with integrity? How do you be vulnerable? And how do you be authentic? And when you can do all these things like I do in commercial real estate, you can survive. Hey, I'm struggling. Okay, I'm struggling with this. I'm with that. There's something about that that's real authentic. I had a young guy in the business who I saw. He was a broker, and then he became a principal, and he handled acquisitions for a firm. He's from Michigan. And I watched his career, and I watched a lot of these young guys' career, and he just flourished. And he called me setting up his first fund, and I'm going to help him. And what's so fascinating is watching people's careers, but you could see the attitude, the behavior he had, and it all stems from that. He's authentic. He's vulnerable. He says, I don't have all the answers. Can you help me? That's the genuine side of the business that I think lacks a lot of time. And that skill of being vulnerable and communication, to me, is everything. And I go back to when I was a young Ben Reinberg, and I was 23, 24, getting started in this business, 22 years old, whenever it was. And I look at it and I say, that pure guy of who didn't know anything, who had to ask questions and meet with people and figure out who would lend on a deal and speak with investors and the shoe leather, all that. I realized I don't want to ever forget those days. I want to be grateful for those days, because that's when communication, I had to step up my communication. Every word mattered, every meeting mattered, and I never forget that day I started. And I think that's important. I think when you run into people in our business is that, do they have that mentality? Or, because it's not about putting your throat on someone, because everyone out there listening, you will run into people that you do business with in this industry. I've been in it for over 3 decades. Okay. And I've run into people and brokers and stuff, and people remember the instances you have. So act with integrity, communicate well, and be authentic. And these are some of the things that I feel people will trust you. People will give you referrals and give, like you said, give. Like when I have a good engineer or environmental, guy or an appraiser or a broker or a lender, I share it because it comes back to you in spades. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Well, now, if I'm going to touch on AI, obviously it's been around for a while, actually. We were developing AI back in the 80s, but it wasn't anything like it is today. But right before that, crypto became part of mainstream society. You know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these coins. People are now buying properties with crypto, mainly Bitcoin, and you can go closings. Title companies are accepting it or doing the exchange. But how have you been involved with that, or how do you see that, or what role is that playing in today's real estate?
Hey there. Did you know you can join a free real estate mastermind session every Monday night? It's called Monday Night Live, and it kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm Gary Wilson, and every week I host this live class, joined by investor agents from across the country and around the world. And here's the best part. No selling, no recruiting, just pure, actionable real estate education. Every Monday, we cover everything from the basics to advanced strategies. We even bring in expert guests once or twice a month. Topics like how to buy property using crypto, how AI is reshaping the real estate landscape, what the metaverse and blockchain mean for real estate deals today. Whether you're a new investor or a seasoned pro, you'll walk away with real value, and you'll have the chance to ask questions live, connect with others, and expand your network. Sound good? Then head over to realestatewithgarywilson.com. Click the Resources tab, select Monday Night Live, and you'll find recent replays plus a full schedule. You can register for any upcoming session, even weeks in advance. And if you're watching this on social media, just check the video description for the direct registration link. I'll see you Monday night. Bring your questions, your notepad, and your drive to grow. I look forward to connecting with you.
We decided a couple of years ago we're going to get involved in AI, even though it wasn't in vogue or as popular. And we started investing in it. We're using it for property management and acquisitions and raising equity and HR, and all the different departments are looking at using it, and how our CRM and I realized that there was a couple things. As a founder and CEO, I had to build my own brand. I also realized that we have to get involved in AI and realize how to double down on it and how to improve our systems and processes. And people were a little skittish about it. They're like, well, am I going to lose my job? And we said, no, this is going to enhance your job. So what we did was we brought in a chief AI officer and a human behaviorist to help people learn how to deal with the changes of AI coming in the business, how to deal with it personally, how to deal with it professionally, how it impacted them, how it emotionally impacted them. And so we got feedback and realized, so we're big into educating and communicating and how we're using AI. And I feel that 2026, we're going to have some shifts of how it's being used and how it's going to impact the business. And we're learning and growing. And so there's something called AI Ben. We create a figure called AI Ben, which teaches people, and you could ask it questions, and it's very interactive. And so at the end of the day, we have a newsletter that has a big AI influence. It's on the Substack, and that has done extremely well. And we're educating the public, which is really nice, and we're bringing them into our universe. So you can use AI for some great things, for educating, for being more efficient in your business. You can use it for more transparency, but also being more accurate in what you're doing. Maybe it's underwriting, maybe it's property management, lease maintenance, whatever. There is ways that AI can enhance the accuracy as well of the work that you're putting out.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, is one of the byproducts of course, blockchain processing, and it's now being used in multiple business sectors. Large financial institutions are using it, and it makes sense. In real estate, if you look at the title, how a title is researched, that's exactly what blockchain is. The sequence of steps, it's just never used before in title insurance. Well, now it is. There's title companies springing up everywhere that are using blockchain to do the title search, and it's done in seconds, as opposed to sending somebody downtown, to do the research. It's just an amazing. I like it all. I'm not afraid of it. I know that. Believe me, I'm a real realist. Anytime technology is developed or evolved, you've got the yin and the yang of life. You've got good actors and bad actors. Everybody's capable of both. You just got to choose which side you're going to be on and focus on. And I think the good right now is way, way, way out far outweighing the bad. And there's going to be other advancements in medicine, engineering, air travel. There's so much potential out there because of the capabilities. One thing I learned about AI is it really doesn't replace us. One thing I keep telling people is, a human had to create the computer. A human created the software. A human created AI. AI is very capable. Believe me, it's getting far, far more capable. But the processing in AI is still software, is still a linear process. It's just that it can process in multiple ways, multiple linear paths at the same time, and much more quickly than we can. But it can't think abstractly. Only we can do that, at least right now.
And it doesn't have emotions. It can abstract from history what the emotion was in a certain statement. But at the end of the day, AI is important. You need to jump on it and start learning it, and you need to embrace it. It's going to be part of our culture. It was just like the internet. It was, if you remember, especially with our investors, we were worried. It's like we investors that said, I'm not giving you my banking information to put online or to pay online distributions. Well, that was years ago. And now everyone's comfortable. Now everyone does online banking and transferring money. And now you got the Venmos and the PayPals and all these different platforms out there. And so that took time to get comfortable. And people will get comfortable with AI. It takes time. And, we talk about technology. I mean, tokenization of real estate and commercial real estate is going to be on the forefront. We're trying to get our arms around that and how we could benefit. And I'm sure your partner, Glenn, is probably discussing that as well. I mean, that's something at the forefront. And so technology will always be part of this business. And we've been slow to adapt technology in commercial real estate. We're always a little bit behind because we're a relationship business. And when you're a relationship type industry, you adapt technology a little bit slower. But technology has come in databases and CoStar and all these different companies and Crexi have come in and done an incredible job in crowdfunding. And we've changed the way that we've done business in commercial real estate. And so it's a moving thing in commercial real estate. So I'm excited, and I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for this year.
Yeah, we're with you. I mean, we started using it, years ago for simple things, video creation and all that. But now we actually create employees with it now. We literally create AI virtual employees that don't cost us a dime to do perform functions and tasks that are administrative. But we also use it at the strategic planning level. We use it at the creation level to create campaigns and opportunities and new creative purchasing techniques. So I have I'm sure I have a large team of, we call investor agents, called the Global Investor Agent Team. And so on my team, we make it part of our formula. And for the agents, if they don't already use it, and the learning curve is so easy. My gosh, it's way easier than first grade math. You just tell it, you position AI, you give it the background, give it the persona you want it to have, and give it what it is you want to accomplish. And the more detail, the better. And the results are just phenomenal. I mean, it's just, but what I want to do is I want to go back. We talked about crypto and blockchain. 2009, we were, up to our necks in a recession. Yeah. And in 2009, when the first Bitcoin was created, by the way. But take us back to that. And what's I hear a lot of theories on this. But to me, I remember thinking, you know what? I think this is just an indicator of what's coming down the road. It's just that there was a bubble, all the fraudulent loans. I mean, the mortgage brokers industry, I'm sorry if I'm insulting people, but, all those ridiculous loans and the faulty, paperwork that they were being submitted to the underlying investors, that was the problem with that. But it exposed some weaknesses. So what's your opinion as far as what role that plays in what we're doing now in real estate and what it might hold for the future,
Well, there's trillions of dollars of commercial real estate loans coming to. And it's scary because how are the lenders going to deal with these loans maturing? Are they going to extend them? Are they going to work them out? Are they going to start selling notes? So we'll see how that impacts our industry. We saw that in 08 and 09. As far as digital assets, I feel that they will be part of this industry. I feel that the blockchain will be part of title insurance eventually. I feel that there's going to be some sort of forefront of how to raise equity through the blockchain. Mm-hmm. And so I'm excited. I want to learn about it. I want to be a part of it. My oldest son is in the blockchain industry. He works for a large fund where they bring in investors and they invest in digital assets. And he knows the blockchain well. And I see all this happening. I say, this is definitely the future of where commercial real estate could go if it's done right. And that way investors all over the world will be able to invest in commercial real estate and have a piece of a hard asset. And it goes back to my book, Hard Assets and Hard Money for Hard Times, because it talks about how to build wealth and how I've been able to do it. And that's through hard assets. So if you can do that through the blockchain and get a piece of a deal and be able to diversify your portfolio, I think that's going to be the future of the business and the industry. And so I'm excited because I'm excited what the next 20 years brings in this business. I'm not retiring. I'm not going away. I want to ride this thing and see and be a part of it, and also teach and give impact to people. It's why I built the personal brand. It's why I wrote the book. It's my way to give back and say, if I can shorten the learning curve of the young man or woman in our business so they don't have to go through the ups and downs that I have, then I've done my job. And same thing when I come on a podcast, if there's some sort of nugget of information that someone out there gravitates and said, Ben said this, and they said, hey, he works on himself every day and he meditates. Yeah. Maybe I should look at that. Or maybe he did something to say, hey, or he talked about the ability to hold, or he said, don't over leverage your properties, or there was something in there that resonates with your audience. That's a beautiful thing to me. And so that's what I do. And it's interesting, when we launched this personal brand, Gary, about 5.5 years ago, I thought people were crazy because you don't talk about your success, you don't boast. If you've been there, done that, you just live it, right? And then all of a sudden we got on social media and got online and we're like, oh my God, we got to tell stories and educate people. And that was a hard pill to swallow. But now that we've done it, we've grown the presence, and it has great impact because it allows people to come into our universe and for us to teach them, creates opportunities for investors to invest in our syndications and funds, resources to come work for Alliance. And so it's a great piece of marketing to really showcase what you can do, but also be able to help people and educate them as well. So it has a really nice flavor to it.
Well, I want to touch on that. I actually want to touch on the book and also Alliance CGC. So I know we're going to run out of time here real quick, but I want people to know about the book. What it's the title, where can they get it? Website, anything you can shed some light on there. That would be great.
Absolutely. So the book name is Hard Assets and Hard Money for Hard Times. If you go to benreinberg.com, you can pick up the book. You can also go to Amazon. If you go to my website, you can buy it in bulk. We have a lot of RIAs and financial advisors and accountants and attorneys that are buying it in bulk because they want to give it to their clients. It's about, especially now in a time of economic instability and rapid market changes, this book, we've seen, inflation and rates and geopolitical risk. And most people, Gary, are scared and confused. And so I wrote the book to give clarity and control, not headlines and hype, as I mentioned. So when the world gets shaky, you either guess or you follow proven principles. Well, the book is your playbook. I have a hard asset empire blueprint in the book. You can download it for free. It's my gift to your audience today. If you go to benreinberg.com, you can download it for free. And it talks about hard assets. And hard assets are real, tangible, cash flowing assets that don't disappear. You can kick the bricks and mortar. And when the market throws a tantrum, you can protect yourself, because we've seen paper wealth can drop 40% in a week. And hard assets hold their value and produce income through any storm. And so what I've seen is, as far as families, institutions, and sovereign wealth and money, they're all shifting back into hard assets right now. That is your signal. That's what people are telling you. The behavior is showing they're shifting into hard assets. And so I created the blueprint. It's a roadmap I've used for decades, how to buy, finance, and scale hard assets the right way. And it's not a theory. It's been forged in the fires of my career and other of my colleagues that viewed it step 1, step 2, and step 3, whether you're starting your first deal or protecting your 8-figure portfolio. I wrote it for the Ben Reinberg 32 years ago, was getting started, but also the billionaire that's in our business. Because the goal is simple. It's cash flow, it's tax efficiency, and long-term security. It's not gambling, it's building an empire.
Right.
And so hard money is capital that's tied to something real. It's something that pays you. It's disciplined capital. It's backed by assets. It's not a fantasy, and it's not speculation. And that's how you build resilience. So when the market cracks, hard money keeps paying you and keeps it in control. And so to find it, go to benreinberg.com. If you want to learn how to invest in commercial real estate and invest with us, if you go to my company, Alliance CGC.com, there's testimonials. Okay. We'll show you how to invest with us and build wealth. And, my goal is it's not about becoming rich, it's becoming wealthy. I mean, being rich is about what you have now, Gary. Being wealthy is about building a secure future and a lasting empire. And that's what I teach.
Right.
And so, because there is a lie that goes on in our environment. The real secret is not hoarding cash. It's investing in tangible, durable assets that protect and grow your money. And Absolutely. Even when things are going crazy, especially in a market of uncertainty. And so I'm just like everyone out there. I wasn't born wealthy. I had to learn through mistakes. I made a lot of them. I'm very vulnerable about that. And I discovered a path to financial freedom is through hard assets. And so, it's investing in tangible assets to protect and grow your wealth, even when chaos is going on. And so cash is not king. It is if you need to invest, but you need to invest in hard assets. And so they're crucial for building wealth, Gary. And because hard assets offer key advantages that cash or other liquid assets often lack, especially in the long term. The tax benefits are great. And so the one thing I can promise your audience is that you can learn how to become wealthy. I did it, and now you can too. So if you pick up a copy of my book, it's fairly cheap. It's one of these books that's evergreen. You will own it forever. You can pass it down to your kids. You can buy your kids the book as well. It's the gift that keeps on giving, because it's not about me. It's about how can you build a hard asset empire just like I have. And it's about building wealth.
Okay. So hard assets and hard money for hard times.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Right. And you can go to benreinberg.com for that, and then Alliance CGC for learning and participating. That's I really appreciate you sharing that, and I really appreciate you sharing all that you shared today. I mean, it's interesting. We tend to be forward-thinking beings. The way we're business, we're strategic, we're goal-oriented, we're entrepreneurial. But the reality is, if you study history, it gives you some valuable insight. It also builds confidence, because change is going to occur. Mathematical certainty. Whatever you think is the reality today is going to be changing tomorrow. It's a fact. But understanding history allows you to see that and gives you confidence that we're going to learn this, we're going to master it too, just like we learned the internet. Now look, the internet's almost kids our children were born with cell phones, right? We weren't. And look at them now, and look at us. So in any case, everybody out there listening, have confidence, have faith, belief in yourself, have trust. All right, and get out there and get busy and take action. Learn from Ben. Get the book. Go to benreinberg.com. Get the book, Hard Assets and Hard Money for Hard Times. Go to Alliance CGC for some education and participate. I mean, look at it. Bold moves. Ben's first bold move was industrial space. That's considered the top of the top when you're in commercial real estate. When you do industrial, that's the biggest challenge of all, but it's also the biggest payout. You can do the same thing. I'm not saying follow it, shoot it exactly. Well, you know what? I bet Ben would tell you this. My philosophy is this: when people say I want to be just like you, I say no. Be better than me. Right?
That's right.
That's a real compliment to what I'm doing. If you exceed me, that means what I'm doing is working.
Well, people always ask me, like, what would you do when you were younger getting started? I said I would work on myself, be the best version of myself, learn how to communicate, and learn how to influence and inspire people. And if I knew that when I was in my 20s, oh my Lord, I couldn't tell you where I'd be right now. But it's part of the maturation process, part of going through life. And, but I could say to anyone, if you're looking to really dominate and grow, is work on yourself, become the best version of yourself, and you will shine like the star that you are.
I agree. Success is an inside job.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well,
Ben,
thank you for
doing
me.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for doing this. And thank you, listeners, for listening. Please leave a review. We love your reviews. It's what makes the podcast world go around. This is like a community service. So when you guys do that, it gives us the confidence that we're doing the right thing. So we really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves. God bless you and all your loved ones. And we will see you on the next Massive Passive Cashflow Podcast.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Massive Passive Cashflow. Be sure to go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.